What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Bearded Fireflies Wrestling Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. We've had a few weeks off. Chris and our schedules didn't align, and we had some things going on, but that's okay. That's all right. Today, the 2nd of June, 2024, the year of our Lord, the year of the dragon, not the American dragon. The year of the scapegoat, I guess. But today is a good day. It's a good day to be alive. Chris, how has your last 2-3 weeks been?
It's been a roller coaster, man. Haven't had my car in almost 3 weeks now. Got to celebrate my brother's life. Yeah, man. Just been stranded at home, unfortunately.
Oh, those four walls, man. If those four walls could talk.
Exactly.
Man, I'm definitely sorry about that. That sucks. I am in the process of buying a home, and I am in the process of doing a lot of things. It's crazy. It's crazy madness. Some people are just wild like that. Today, my daughter that lives in Clarksville, Tennessee, is watching, and so I'm really excited for her to see that, or to see this. And she likes wrestling. And next weekend, I'm going to be seeing her in Nashville or in Tennessee, so I'm really excited about that. Shout out to M.
Are you driving there? Or are you flying there?
Oh, we're driving.
Nice.
10-hour drive.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad. We're driving from here through West Virginia and then through Tennessee. Man, Tennessee is a huge state.
Oh, I know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dropping down into Nashville and up. She lives like right on the border of Tennessee and Kentucky, which is pretty cool.
Me and Caleb went to North Carolina last year for my birthday. We landed in Chattanooga, and it took us like 3 or 4 hours to get to our Airbnb in North Carolina. So
nice. Where in North Carolina did you
go? We went to Hayesville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
The sticks.
Yeah, so it's a wild time, beginning of the summer. How's the weather for you guys down there in Florida?
Bro, it's been so hot. It's not even August yet, and we're already getting 97-degree weather.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right now it's the coolest it's been all week, but right now it's 84, 85, feels like 88. It's been disgusting.
I think now is it humid heat or is it dry heat?
Both. It's humid heat. It's humid heat.
Oh.
And our humidity right now is at 54%. So it's not terrible humidity, but it's hot. It's disgusting outside.
Damn.
Put it to you this way, bro. I haven't left my house in like 3 days. I haven't walked outside my door.
Oh, God. Ugh. Man, it's been nice pretty much all week, man. It was in the low 80s yesterday. I got out and I played some Pokemon Go. That's like my thing.
People still play that.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love it. So I'm really starting to enjoy the summer. I'm starting to enjoy the weather. I've got slam packed summer. This upcoming weekend we're going to Tennessee, and then the following weekend I'm going to Virginia Beach to see my youngest brother graduate high school. So that's pretty awesome. I'm excited about that. Yeah. But slam packed summer, it's wild. But enough of that, man. This past week, actually, you know what? These past 3 weeks in wrestling have been insane.
Yeah,
we've had all over the place. We've had crossovers.
Mm-hmm.
We've had debuts.
Right.
We've had superstar
special guests.
Special guest.
Yep.
Man, we've had people breaking their legs. We've had people been set on fire.
Who broke their leg?
Adam Copeland.
Right.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
And we'll talk about that, in a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah. We've had people set on fire. We've had people hung upside down and kicked in the face with uh, with shoes that had spikes on them or thumbtacks. Call back to the PWG days, man. But this week, these last 2 weeks have been insane.
Did you tune into that?
No, I didn't. I look,
Just
man. I
saw
told you.
clips.
Yeah, I saw clips and I kind of was paying attention.
I
We
almost I almost went on one of those free sites to watch it. I thought about it and I looked at the card. I'm like, bro, the only match that has a little bit of interest for me was the Alistair Malachi and Copeland match. And of
yeah,
course, Edge didn't put him over. So I'm like, well, this is trash.
yeah, yeah. I think, and I'll say this now, and I know your feelings on this person, but I'm gonna say I love this person. I have. The only thing that in that card that I was really excited for, when it happened, was MJF.
So the only thing I'm gonna say on that is I feel his identity is completely gone.
Yeah,
I don't feel like he has a presence anymore. I don't feel like he has that special thing about him anymore. Because what did he do the first second he picked up that microphone? Whose name did he mention? Vince
yeah,
McMahon. The
yeah,
entire existence of AEW has lived off of the existence of Vince McMahon.
yeah,
Period. That is the identity of AEW. And the
yeah.
fact that MJF had to, one, dress up as Triple H, and two, mention Vince McMahon tells
Yeah.
me all I need to know about MJF.
Well, I mean, like, look at MJF, man. Like and it's weird because he got that AEW tattoo.
So corny.
It was terrible. I half think that it's fake, but that's just me. But
You think so?
there's, I mean, it might be real, it might be fake. I don't know. But on top of that, too, like he's had appearances where he's dressed up as Shawn Michaels. The whole referee thing, this Triple H thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm excited because I like MJF.
Yeah, and nothing, do you? I'm not gonna knock you for liking somebody, but
Yeah.
I just feel like if you can't go 1 week without mentioning WWE, you're nothing to me. Look at Swerve Strickland's most recent comments. He said, and this is word for word what he said. Now is the time for AEW and WWE to collaborate. And if that doesn't tell you enough about the state of AEW, I don't know what else does.
Yeah, definitely. I agree completely. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to rewind that to the day before. We had King of the Ring.
King of the fucking Ring.
Straight from Saudi Arabia. And look, I'm going to say I thoroughly enjoyed the show.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
So good. Even the pre-show.
Yeah. I wasn't able to watch it in real time because literally right outside my door, we had a Memorial Day parade.
Yeah.
And it was going on during that time, but I watched it on Sunday. And holy shit, from top to bottom, like you said, the pre-show all the way to the main event, solid show. And we're gonna run through that, man. And the pre-show, we had the Kabuki Warriors. Wait, no, not the Kabuki Warriors. Wow. We had Indian Candice against Jade and Bianca for the women's tag team championships, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like. And this is what I enjoy. I enjoy watching a product or a superstar where every week that person gets better, right? Whether it's the presence, the ring, in-ring work, the ring psychology, promos, whatever. And you can tell from the very first time that Jade stepped her foot in a WWE ring till now, she has gotten systematically better.
Facts.
And it is refreshing to see because you don't see that very much.
So the only thing I want to add to piggyback off of that is it's so weird to see her in a tag team environment because we've only known her for a singles competitor her whole AEW run.
Yeah.
And we said this whenever she first debuted in AEW, that the problem with her booking was they didn't have her verse anybody worth a fuck in that entire roster. The biggest threat they had her face was what? Nyla Rose and fucking Chris Statlander, who she lost to?
Yeah.
And not once did they ever have Britt Baker stand in the ring.
Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, Thunder Rosa too. But again, she's another talent that has been kept off of TV for whatever reason.
Yeah. They didn't put her up against Toni Storm or anybody.
Right. And it's gotten to a point where it's like, are we doing this by design, or are we doing this to make her look strong? Look, and I compare it every single time. And I will openly say this when it comes to undefeated streaks. I hated Goldberg's and I hated Jade's. Goldberg's did nothing for anybody on that entire roster. The only time that his undefeated streak was ever talked about, like in an importance of the company, was when NWO fucked him over.
Yeah.
Sure, they mentioned every week that he's 170 days undefeated, whatever the hell that whole commentary bullshit was. But he did the same thing for Jade. And the only time that her streak ever meant something was when it ended.
Yeah.
Whereas you compare it to The Undertaker, who The Undertaker's undefeated streak, nearly every single person besides A-Train and Big Show felt important. Felt like it was, holy shit, he could lose to this guy.
Yeah. And the crazy thing was it only became like relevant until that first time that he fought Triple H.
Right.
That is the first time people are like,
it was Edge. Edge was the first time that it was relevant.
Well, when it was relevant, but they started mentioning him, right? So I think it was WrestleMania 17 when he fought Triple H, when he was the American Badass, right? And like
that was a no holds barred match, I think, right?
Yes, that was a phenomenal match. Really and if you haven't seen it, like, and I know Chris has watched it, but if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. Like, it is amazing, just simply awesome, a certified banger. But yeah, like, and you were just saying, like, Undertaker's WrestleMania streak meant so much because at any given point it could have ended, right? Like, it could have ended with Triple H.
With Jade, do you have her take a pinfall anytime soon? No. And by who?
I think that if she does take a pinfall, it has to be against the champion. Like, and
either after champion or Bianca.
Yeah, or Bianca. Yeah. Yeah. But if they're trying to like, groom Jade to be the next like dominant Charlotte Flair. And I'm going to say this, and this isn't going to be popular with a lot of people that may watch this, or even you have her eat a pin to Charlotte.
I'm not against that. I'm not against it at all because so we already had the face off before Charlotte got hurt, right? We already saw the potential there. Same with Bianca. They're tag team champions together, which I thought was a very smart move because she's riding, I don't want to say riding on coattails. She's piggybacking off of arguably one of the greatest women's talents that the roster has right now.
Yeah.
And whenever the split happens, however it happens, it's going to be magical because Bianca can carry anybody on that goddamn roster.
Yeah.
Her selling is unmatched. Her storytelling is unmatched. Now, I don't agree with how protected Bianca is in terms of how she's booked sometimes, but I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think like the implosion when it does happen is, and this is just me ballparking out there, I think it's going to be on the level of the Mega Powers.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just going to blow over.
So when it comes to that split, when it does happen, how would you do it?
Jade's a natural heel.
Right.
But so is Bianca.
I can pull off babyface. I really, really don't.
Bianca's a good babyface.
Yeah.
But she's an even better heel.
Right.
But it's going to be super hard to put Jade as a face, right? Because she is just so dominant, right? She has that presence like in Nia Jax, right? Nia Jax is just, and not like talking about her size, but her personality is just overall over the top. She's not that great at being a face, but as a heel, she's great.
Has she ever been a babyface?
Yeah. When she went against Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania for the title, when she took it,
Was she a heel or was she a babyface then?
she was a face.
Or was she a tweener?
More of a tweener.
I'd probably say tweener. I feel like calling somebody like Nia a babyface just kind of isn't really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it, like Jade has that presence, just that endearing presence about her that screams heel, right? Like at any given point, I'm sitting there waiting on a boot to Bianca's face because you don't know when it's going to happen. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think that it will happen when they're on a losing streak. Like if
the way that I would do it is the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble is the easiest place to plant seeds.
Very true. Absolutely.
And the fact that so many teams have split or started a split at the Rumble. Because if you remember, Roman Reigns planted the seeds for the Shield to break up.
Yeah.
But Seth is the one who turned. So why not do something like that with Bianca and Jade?
Absolutely. And Alec, we miss you too, brother. Thanks for being here. But anyways, man, it could be something like that, man. And I'm just really excited to see what happens for the future of Bianca and Jade. I think that both of those women are going to carry the women's division. I mean, even you could keep them in a tag team for the next year, and then in a brand split, put the tag titles on somebody, and then have them go in a brand split, and then Bianca goes to wherever Montez is.
So keep them away from each other, essentially.
Yeah, keep them away from each other, and then at Survivor Series have them clash. Have them both representative as champions, and then go back to a traditional. I love War Games, but I don't want to see War Games consistently every year. There has to be something behind it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I said it whenever they first introduced War Games.
Yeah.
I genuinely think it's such a gimmicky ass match that I don't want to see it every single year, like you said. I am probably one of the very few that actually likes the traditional SmackDown versus Raw shit.
I love it.
But Vince killed that shit. Vince ruined it.
He did.
Because what was the last match that they did?
Roman and Bobby.
Roman Reigns. Roman and Drew?
Roman and Drew, or no, it was Roman. No, it was Bobby and Brock.
Was it?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was Roman versus either Biggie or Drew. But either way, I thought it was stupid because Roman was undefeated, and there was no point of that match happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Alec, no, you haven't missed much, man. We're just talking about King and Queen of the Ring right now. Getting into that, and then we're going to talk about Monday. And he said, so the whole comment says, I'd say keep the traditional matches and have one War Games match each year at Survivor Series.
But see, that's what we're saying. Instead of doing that every year, alternate it.
Yeah, every other year. Or have your own pay-per-view War Games. Like, it doesn't have to be Survivor Series War Games.
I feel like the problem with that is the same problem I have with Hell in a Cell as a pay-per-view. Yeah. Because if there's one Hell in a Cell, there's no point in the fucking pay-per-view being Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. I think that like every match on that card should be that. Things. It does. It really does. But yeah, like I said, kickoff show was phenomenal. Great.
I love that tag team finisher that they did.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
and
really
it's looking like a champ.
She did. And the cool thing is Bianca played to the knee injury, right? And we'll continue to see that going forward. But yeah, it was great. So the first match on the card was Liv and Becky. I didn't see Liv going over.
Same.
In light of what we know now, right? In light of the complications with Becky's contract, I mean, we don't know what's happening there. That's
Yeah.
all that. And I said it. I said it on TikTok. I hate hearing and Fightful reports.
Yeah.
So another, I think Hell in a Cell kind of fell apart after it became a WrestleMania match yearly for a while. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But I didn't. I honestly, I didn't see Liv going over. I didn't think Liv was going to go over, and
I
the
love
way
it.
they did
I
it was
love the
great.
way she did it. I love
Yeah,
the way that she did because it established her as a heel.
yeah,
I don't think Becky should have won that battle royal. But I understood why they did it. It just didn't work out the way that they wanted to with her.
yeah, yeah,
And the way that Liv has been planting seeds since her return with the
yeah,
Judgment Day, with Dominic, with now JD,
yeah.
has been great.
And here's the thing: like somebody said, do you think it was one of my buddies who's just started watching wrestling again? He said, he asked me, do you feel that it was right for Becky to win it and then have Liv take it? And thinking about it now, I don't think that you would want to put the women's championship on Liv winning a Rumble. Like honestly, I wouldn't have put it that way. Right? That would be reserved for a spot like Becky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give Becky that additional title run.
You need to have somebody who's established win something like that.
Exactly. And then have that feud started with Liv and
Mm-hmm.
Becky. But because Becky is like off doing either motherly things, which I have nothing against, or whatever, they took the title off her and they gave it to Liv. And I think that was a good call.
Yeah.
Once again, and I hate to bring it up, but they took the title off of Ronda Rousey and put it on Liv. They said Ronda Rousey was the most dominant woman in all of WWE, the most dangerous woman. Now we can debate that or not, but they took it off of her and put it on Liv to put some credibility on, and it kind of it fell short. Now we'll see what happens with this title run.
So, go ahead.
Okay, so Alex says I think they played it outright when they kind of confused people at first with where they were going to take the storyline with Liv. Yeah, I agree.
I think they, like I said, I feel they needed to reestablish where Liv stood on this whole thing. And I don't think they expected Rhea to get hurt the way that she did. And that's unfortunate. I think they would have had Liv take it off of Rhea.
Yeah.
But my question goes to when Rhea returns, whenever the hell that is, whether it's SummerSlam, whether it's Survivor Series, whatever the plan is.
Yeah.
Do you have it take her off of Liv? Because I think that would be a mistake.
Yeah.
I think just to please the internet fans, I don't think that they should take a title off of Liv just because Rhea returns.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I honestly have you followed the page for the Nightbird stuff? Yeah, so we're actually going to talk about that in a little bit. Honestly, I think that they're going to wait for King of the Ring. I think that they're going to, or not King of the Ring, sorry, Royal Rumble to bring Rhea back.
You think they wait that long though?
I mean, depending on how long her recovery is going to be, right? Because she already had surgery, from my understanding. Now she's recovering. It depends on the severity of the injury and how long her recovery is. Now it could be Survivor Series, but it could also be Royal Rumble. And idealistically, you always want somebody to be in the Rumble as a surprise. And right now, I mean, we got Jordan Grace, and we'll talk about that. Jordan Grace, that was great. But one second. And we have Jordan Grace, but we don't really have too many other surprises, right? Unless we do more crossover work with TNA, which we'll get into later because that kind of happened this week. So you need another surprise, and what bigger surprise than the most popular woman in fucking WWE, and that is Rhea.
So theoretically speaking, if Becky doesn't sign a contract, I don't think she's going to AEW. I think that'd be fucking stupid if she went to AEW. With that being said, I don't think she would sign, considering her husband just resigned.
Yeah.
But that being said, do you have Becky come back at the Rumble with Rhea? Or do you save Becky to return if she comes back?
Give her some time off. Literally, that woman has broke her back.
Yeah,
for that company
wholeheartedly.
Hold on. So Alex says, I think that we might see a crossover at TNA and WWE for Matt Hardy.
Keep him far away, please, for the love of God.
I love Matt Hardy, but no, keep him away. I honestly say, give that woman some time off.
Yeah.
And like, when I mean time off, I mean like a year.
Mm-hmm.
Let her sit at home. Let her be a mom. Let her do her thing. And I'm not saying people are going to forget about her.
Yeah.
But people are going to forget about
her. Let her miss her. Let them miss her.
Oh, yeah. The heart grows fonder. And he showed up in an Uncle Howdy snip. Oh, okay. So let her stay gone for a while. Monday after WrestleMania, bring her right back in. She can still be under contract secretly, right? People don't got to know the ins and outs of everything, but bring her back the night after Mania. Night after Mania is supposed to be a big thing, and that's what Triple H is trying to get back to. So yeah, bring her back. Have her challenge.
One thing that I really appreciate about Triple H is booking compared to Vince is he doesn't rely so heavy on the night after WrestleMania. He wants to book a strong card, but he doesn't have 400 call-ups and 3 returns and 1 new signing. Like, he doesn't do that like Vince did. He did it at first.
Yeah.
But I think he's slowly starting to realize this shit doesn't work because either you get a red-hot signing, which I don't think there's any out there right now unless I'm missing somebody. And I think there are a lot of MLW, TNA guys that are really, 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 really good that could come to WWE. But that's all a matter if they want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just feel like Triple H's booking is so much better than Vince in so many different ways.
Yeah. Well, it's because he's more in touch with the crowd. He's more in touch with the fan base. So moving back off of that, the next match at King and Queen of the Ring was the Intercontinental Championship match. Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed. Holy shit.
Great match.
What a match. Dude, I didn't think Sami was going to retain.
He shouldn't have. My opinion.
No, in my opinion, it should have.
As a champion, wholeheartedly.
Yeah, me too. I felt it should have gone to one of the other two.
I think Bronson should have been the one to take it.
Yeah. Best free agent on the market is EC3.
So I'm going to be honest about EC3, man. When he was in NXT the first time in Black and Gold, I was like, okay, so either they're going to do something really good with him or he's just not going to stand out. He's literally a less talented LA Knight is what he is. And when he did the change your narrative stuff, I think everybody tried so hard to cancel him and forget about him and whatever. I just don't think he's that special. I never really saw the hype behind what he did. Like, I get it, the 1% bullshit. Like, okay, cool. But I don't know, man. I never found EC3 that interesting.
All right, so my buddy Kenny Thompson from Alaska, he's a huge fan and huge advocate for WrestlePro and WrestlePro Alaska. He said Casey Navarro has longevity. I'd love to see Casey Navarro in WWE. Chris, I don't know if you follow.
I know the name. I don't follow his work.
Casey Navarro is phenomenal. I've seen a lot.
Some of his anybody work right now.
He's with he's more of an indie guy. He's with WrestlePro. But he said he's gotten better now in his NWA run. I haven't paid much attention to NWA.
Yeah, I stopped watching a long time ago.
Yeah. But I felt Gable or Bronson Reed. I feel Bronson Reed.
It makes sense why Gable didn't win because they got to do the Otis. They got to do the Otis stuff. I am not with WrestlePro and never worked with NWA. Oh wow.
Oh hey, what's up, Casey? I could have sworn I've seen you in WrestlePro before. House of Glory a lot also. Okay, yeah, and I know that Casey's never worked for NWA. I think we were talking about EC3.
Yeah, we were talking about EC3 Casey. But yeah, man, I just I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't follow Casey. Nothing against you, my man. Would love to see you on one of the bigger companies, just so I obviously know more about you. I'll do my research, of course, but yeah.
But yeah, I felt Bronson Reed should have won that, right?
Yeah.
Like Bronson, dude, and that suicide dive that he did. Woo!
He's gotten better.
God,
Bronson has gotten significantly better. And I think for the longest time, like when he first returned, I feel like he just wasn't doing the cardio, and I was worried that he was going to get cut because of that.
Yeah,
And being a bigger guy, Bam Bam, there's so many bigger guys out there who
yeah,
are just really good.
yeah,
At one point, I'd say Bronson reminded me of Bam Bam Bigelow a lot.
yeah, yeah,
And then he got released because Vince is just Vince,
yeah,
and never gave him a chance. And then you never heard from him after that. But
yeah.
I understand why Bronson didn't win that match, but I also think that Bronson should have beat Sammy in some capacity.
Yeah. Alex says, speaking of this match, the QR code during Bronson's match confirmed that Uncle Howdy is finishing the story. Okay, cool. I'm excited for it. I want to see it play out, but I don't know when it's going to start.
Like I told you about the QR thing before we dig into that. I don't want to put any expectations on the whole thing, and I definitely don't want to speculate anything on it, just for the simple fact that it's Bo Dallas doing it, and I want Bo to be able to honor his brother, and I don't want to put any kind of critique or anything on it.
Yeah,
just me. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree. Next, we had the Queen of the Ring finals. We had Lyra Valkyria versus Nia Jackson. Look, before we get into this, I have never watched Lyra. I'm not an NXT guy, right? Like, and if you've watched this show at any length, I've never been an NXT guy. Well, I haven't watched NXT in a long time. Lyra Valkyria is fucking phenomenal. Jesus Christ. That woman, good. It's so good.
So good.
Yeah. And at first I was like, man, they're going to put her in the finals. But I'm like, shit, they're going to put her ass in the finals.
Her beating Io was the most shocking shit I think I've seen on a Monday Night Raw in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That match, dude, my God.
I think that's got to be one of my favorite women's matches in a minute. Nia has surpassed any doubt in anybody's mind of how good she can be.
Yeah. Yeah. And dude, that at the end, man, at the very end, when Lyra was trying to powerbomb him, and she fucking just dropped down on her chest and then did the Yokozuna sit.
Yeah.
I was like, that is your Queen of the Ring right there. Right? Great. It was great. Fastest NXT call-up push since Finn? I don't know. There's been some fast ones. I don't think Finn got called up too quick.
I think Triple H has learned his lesson from seeing what Vince has done to these NXT guys and girls.
Yeah.
That nobody is getting the mega push getting called up. And I think that's the smarter route because, one, we're in a different era of booking. And two, I feel the audience has evolved since Vince has been gone. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of Vince's failed projects reflect in reactions. Tegan Knox, who was brought back, has gotten no reaction at all, and I feel really bad for her. Bronson didn't get shit for a while.
No.
And, he's finally starting to establish himself and get really over as a heel.
Yeah.
But I think the fastest push will probably be Braun Breaker, if anybody.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt.
Yeah. Alex says Finn kind of went to the main roster and beat Roman to be immediately put in a title contention, probably the fastest I can remember. Yeah. I agree. I don't think that Finn should have had been put in that position.
No, not at all.
No, because it set him up for failure, and then he got hurt.
Yep.
Um, comment, but it's through text messages. My daughter, she said she loves this podcast, and she's really enjoying it. She said it's awesome.
Thank you.
She's yeah. So, the finals of the King of the Ring, Gunther and Randy. God damn. Okay, look, man. I haven't seen Randy get an ass beating like that ever.
Yeah.
Randy got his ass beat.
I think the last time he got beat down that bad was with Triple H.
Yeah. Since the injury, you could tell his old. Yeah.
He wrestles a lot smarter too.
Yeah, he really does. Dude, Randy got his ass handed to him from bell to bell, dude, and like it was a great match. And I don't know. Randy knows how to sell the legs so well. He does, and the back and the neck. He's really good at it. And dude, I thought that they were going to try and call back that decision right on Monday because a lot of people in line were like, "Oh, they're going to call it back." The referee's decision.
I love how everybody was trying to say, "Oh no, they pivoted. That's why they're making it story." I'm like, why would they put it in the camera angle?
Yeah,
and make it look so obvious if it wasn't storyline. You guys are idiots.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, man, that match was awesome. Like bell to bell. I had no complaints about it at all. And then finally, the main event, we had Cody versus Logan. Logan is so good.
Too good.
Fucking good. So good. And the fact that he was more focused on what Michael Cole was saying, and the fact that he was about to kick the shit out of Michael Cole, Corey Graves had to step in. That might be something that we look forward to in the future with Corey Graves stepping back in the ring.
You think he would come back though?
I mean, he's cleared. He's medically cleared. I know that he likes to stay on commentary, but he's medically cleared to wrestle. And then he there was something to the effect that Logan said. He said, "I'm Logan Paul, bitch."
Right.
He says, "I think Gunther and Randy should have been main event, though." No, you always put your champion main event. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's where your championship feels less prestigious.
Right.
And then at the end of it, when Logan had the brass knucks and he swung on Cody, he said, "I'm Cody Rhodes, bitch," and then grabbed him and then hit the triple crossroads. Now, is that something you feel that Cody's going to stick to, the triple crossroads?
I hope not. Only because it feels like such overkill.
Yeah.
And it low-key looks ridiculous when he does the triple.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but I don't. Did he do 1 or 3 on AJ? I think he only did 1, didn't he?
He did 3.
He did the triple?
He did the triple.
Huh. I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but I hope it's just something he does for bigger matches. I don't want to see it being a constant thing.
No. I really think, honestly, I think Cody needs a submission finisher.
I agree.
He needs a submission finisher. I wouldn't go with the figure 4.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's the only one that
Miz is using.
Believable.
Miz is using it, and so Charlotte.
Right.
You don't want to give that to him, but I feel like bring back something that isn't used very much and hasn't been used very much. The Texas Cloverleaf. That's my favorite submission.
Sheamus does that.
Yeah, but how often is he doing it?
That's true.
Alex says it is overkill. Nobody should be kicking out of 2 to 3 finishers. It's the point of it being a finisher. Yeah.
Don't tell AEW that.
But we had Cody Rhodes retain, and it was a good match. Yeah, great match. Pretty awesome match. Now we're going to talk AEW for a moment, and then we're going to move on. We had Double or Nothing, and at the beginning of the show we talked about MJF coming back. Now we're going to talk about some other things that and it's just going to be the F-bomb of the week for me, right? It's just going to be the F-bomb of the week. and that is Adam Copeland at 50 something years old diving off the top of a moonsault. It was a moonsault, yeah, a moonsault.
No. He went for an elbow drop.
He went for an elbow drop off the top of a fucking steel cage and broke his leg. Okay, look, I don't very often side with Booker T on a lot of things. He said
Really?
take the Anaconda Vice from Punk. No. I don't side with Booker T a lot, and a lot of the things that he
Is
says.
there a reason why?
I don't know. Sometimes I guess I'm now getting back into understanding like what Booker T has to say and like stuff like that. But I agree. He said something that made a lot of sense in regards to that. He said, I watched the pay-per-view and I asked why. Right? He said, when you're 20 years old and you do something like that, your body's going to hurt. When you're 30, you might go to the hospital and everything's fine. But when you're 50 and 60 and you're doing that shit,
reason you should be doing that shit.
No. He's like, it's, and this is kind of in my lane and my recovery stuff. He's like, it's kind of like drinking 19, 20, 21 years old. You might wake up with a hangover. You know, you get to your 30s and it's a bad decision. In your 50s and 60s, it starts affecting your liver and your lungs and everything else. And it can kill you.
Right.
And this is the same thing, right? Like you and I both echo the same sentiment with Sting. Why are you putting a 60-year-old man on top of a Titantron, on the top of a fucking ladder? Yeah, sure. It's cool. It gets reactions, but you're not protecting your superstars one bit.
Right. Look what they did with Jeff Hardy, for God's sake. Like, They had him do that swanton bomb onto all those chairs. That man is a recovering addict.
Yep.
Who is addicted to pain pills and alcohol and whoever knows whatever else.
Yep.
I was a big Jeff Hardy fan when I was a kid and a teenager and early 20s. And then you realize there are so many people in this industry and fan base that enable, and that's a key word, enable his fucking behavior. Yeah. And there's a reason that man can barely walk.
Yeah. Dude, Alex said it perfectly. He said not only being 40 or 50, he had triple neck surgery, fusion surgery. It wasn't ever supposed to do this, but then again, and he goes and does stunts like this. Yes, absolutely. There was zero need for it. If you wanted blood, you literally should have just kept it on the ground, right? You should have kept blood, right? There's shots of Adam Copeland scraping Malachi Black's head and getting blood. That's fine. You know, you literally could have just brought in the House of Black and had him decimate Adam Copeland. Fine. But you don't put that man on the top of a fucking cage. That should have been a hard stop for Tony Khan. That should have literally been the backstop. And Tony Khan was like, no, man, you're putting yourself at unneeded risk. But no, because
every single time. It's going to take somebody passing away.
Yep.
For anybody to say anything.
Yeah.
And I the whole Owen Hart thing from Vince McMahon was handled like shit. Yep. It absolutely was. The whole fucking show should have stopped. Yep. I understand both sides of why it didn't, but I also understand and sympathize with why it should have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, why is it that nobody in that goddamn fan base, in that entire cult of followers, cannot hold these wrestlers and Tony Khan accountable for the shit that goes on in there week to week?
Because sometimes people want or have a bloodlust and they don't give a shit what happens.
That is a damn fact.
And Alex says, I don't understand Adam's demeanor. He said he left WWE because he wanted to do this weekly and show he still had it. So why do stuff that risk stop being able to do that, to do it weekly over and over again? I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with you. And that's going to move us on to our next point of fucking Darby Allin, right? Like, once again, I don't agree with everything Cornette says, but Cornette is spot on when he talks about Darby and about AEW as a whole.
Facts.
Right? You brought Darby Allin back when he got hit by a bus to do hardcore spots and a stadium and an Anarchy in the Arena match. This man brought a fucking blowtorch out and set Jungle Boy on fire. Dumb, stupid, right? And then you hang him upside down, and then you have him get super kicked in the face without that protective mask on after he broke his nose with a fucking shoe that has goddamn spikes on it. And then Okada does the Rainmaker on him while he's upside down with thumbtacks on his arm. Come on.
But see, to that point, Alec, I want to respond to this, and I'm going to reiterate the point that I made about Jeff Hardy. We are in grounds of enabling stupid behavior. I understand he's young. I understand he wants to have a good time. But when you look at somebody like Mick Foley, you look at somebody like, well, Ric Flair didn't do as much dumb shit, but you look at somebody like Mick Foley. That man can barely walk down a freaking ramp to present a title. And for his 60th birthday wants to do a death match. Mm-hmm. Like, at what point do we as a wrestling community as a whole tell these wrestlers to stop doing all the dumb shit that they're doing?
Yeah, it's going to take...
Like, there's a wrestling promotion, and I use wrestling promotion very loosely, talking about their company. No, XPW. It is arguably the cringiest shit I've ever seen in my life. They did a spot where a man injected a needle into the tip of his thing.
No way.
I swear on my life. In front of a live crowd.
They declined that death match from last I heard, thankfully. I don't know.
And it's just shit like that should not exist in this community. And it does.
People have a
nobody will do anything.
People have a bloodlust, man. And it's like you said, it's going to take somebody passing away for things to change. All right, so we're going to move on to Raw. Opening up Raw, we had Ludwig Kaiser. He introduced Gunther as King of the Ring. And great promo. And then Damian Priest came out because you say somebody's name, they're coming out. You say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Now, Joe Hendry could just show up on our podcast. That'd be great. Anyways, Damian Priest came out, and Damian Priest cooked. That whole promo, Damian Priest cooked.
It was good, but I feel like we're in dangerous territory with Damian, where they gotta stop giving him or letting him do those dead air promos. Because I feel like his lines hit so hard, but 90% of the audience doesn't react to anything he says. And I feel bad because him and Gunther are so goddamn good that it's just like, I understand that he's trying to establish his position as a champion. But it's like, if you can't get an audience behind you, like not even boos.
Yeah.
Like it's bad. It's bad right now.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for him.
Ludwig Kaiser, was that a stroke? No, that was my epilepsy acting up. Anyways, and then I agree with you wholeheartedly. And then we had Drew McIntyre come out. And Drew McIntyre. Yeah. So, did they release the third guy after Ludwig attacked him?
They got to sell it.
Yeah, they got to sell it. Anyways, McIntyre came out, and McIntyre got cooked too. Save that whole promo. So that was awesome. Then you had Braun Strowman come out at the end, and confront JD McDonough. Look, man.
He also confronted Damian.
He did. He confronted Damian too. Look, Braun and JD was a solid match.
I was very impressed.
I thought that they were just going to have JD get squashed.
Which, in turn, if it was Vince, it would have absolutely happened.
Yeah.
But I'm low-key glad that JD was able to at least shine for the little bit of. I don't understand how Braun is back. How that man Braun Strowman is back and as good as he is. I'm confused.
I think he's saying like how he missed so much time and he's back and he's still in ring shape.
Okay. I read that weird. I'm like, wait, do you not like him? I was a little confused. I'm like, wait a second.
What's happening here? I'm confused.
Someone's having a stroke over here, and it's definitely me.
Hey, man, the disabled crew, disabled bearded fireflies.
God damn it.
God damn it. Yeah, but oh yeah, he had a broken neck less than a year ago. Yeah. He's still in ring shape. He's still in ring condition. He's phenomenal, and he sold the shit out of that leg too. You had Carlito come in, and but he had the same surgery as Edge did. Yep. So yeah, we seen Braun pick up the win, obviously. But it was great. The next match we had Braun. We had Ilya Dragunov versus Ricochet, a rematch.
They cooked. They fucking cooked.
Yeah, and then Braun Breaker wrecked it.
Okay. We got to talk about Braun Breaker for a second because there was a clip that went viral, like I think like the next day. This man is crawling through the goddamn crowd, like literally crawling. And from the barricade to when he speared Ilya was literally 3 fucking seconds.
No,
I have never seen somebody so fast in my entire life. That is a terrifying human being.
Yeah. Dude. Braun versus Strowman. Who do you think?
Too soon.
Nah, yeah. Nah, you gotta let him continue on his rampage, right?
He's gotta kill the smaller guys first.
Killing is an understatement compared to what he did to NXT boy. He fucking decimated that guy. What, did he spear him like 10 times?
He speared Braun and then he speared Ilya. Oh, you're talking about Cale Dixon?
Yeah.
I have never felt so bad for a development talent in my life. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, he could have left it
Killed that poor guy.
And then he hit him in the head with the steel chair. Like, oh my God.
You know what's really funny is he had a match scheduled for Level Up, but it's pre-taped after NXT, so they knew he wasn't going to be there. And they were talking about that match. He's like, "Oh, Cale Dixon was set to face so and so, but this is what happened to him this past Monday because they got to play it off like it's after SmackDown." Yeah. And they showed him getting absolutely decimated by Braun Breaker. I'm like, poor bastard. And you know they showed a highlight of I think like either his debut or one of the last matches he had.
Yeah, God. So next we seen Karrion Kross trying to recruit Xavier Woods and the Creed brothers versus Authors of Pain.
Yeah, 28 miles per hour. I think Booker T dropped that on one of the pay-per-views.
Yeah, insane.
I'm very intrigued with the Karrion Kross stuff because he's playing both of them. And I think we are all at a point where we're begging for the New Day to split in some capacity because it's very desperately overdue for that to happen.
Who goes heel?
Xavier Woods makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Kofi's ever been a heel, and I don't think he can pull off a heel character.
No, I don't think so. I'd love to see Xavier turn and join them. That would be awesome. I don't know that would happen though. Authors of Pain beat Creed brothers in a good match. Next we had Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser start their stuff, and Sheamus was throwing little jabs. Oh, do you think that the Creeds will join Gateway? Yeah.
New team angle.
Yep. New team angle. Absolutely. Team Gable. I think that the Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser has a great possibility to elevate Ludwig much higher than he already is.
I think it's going to be a match that's going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah. So they had a back and forth, and they brawled in the back, and Ludwig got the best of Sheamus. So we'll see where that rivalry takes them. Next, we had Becky Lynch giving Lyra Valkyrie a kind of like talking to, saying, if you feel like you lost the passion for it, just walk away, which is kind of like what ended up happening. We had Lyra Valkyrie versus Kairi Sane, and another banger match.
I'm curious to see the direction Triple H is going with this because I don't like seeing Kyrie and Io and Asuka take so many L's in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe I don't know where they're going to go with it. Next, they had Rey Mysterio versus Carlito. Solid match.
Not bad. Not bad at
No,
all.
no. Rey Mysterio beat Carlito. And then we had Otis versus Bronson Reed. And once again, Otis was getting trashed. The whole Alpha Academy was getting trashed by Gable. He called what's her name, Maxine, Dumb Blonde, and Akira Tozawa. Bronson Reed pinned Otis. So I'm waiting to see. when Otis turns on Gable, or
We
if
saw the
Gable.
King of the Ring. We saw the seeds being planted.
Yes, absolutely. And then the main event, we had the steel cage match for the Women's World Championship. I didn't watch it. I fell asleep. So, Chris, talk about the cage match.
I thought it was a pretty solid match. I think that promo that you alluded to about Becky walking away kind of gave away what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I thought it was very good. Dominic came out and screwed over Becky again. Bronson shoulder checked Dominic into the door, which I thought was a really cool spot, and hit Becky in the face with the door. Liv Morgan won by walking out of the steel cage. And it cut off for all the U.S. fans, but Liv Morgan ended up forcing herself onto Dom and kissing him. I think they said it got over 40 million views over social media in 24 hours. Mm-hmm. So Liv is a draw. Whether people want to admit it or not, Liv is a draw.
Liv is a draw. Definitely. And that plant, like we were talking about Liv Morgan, how it's planting seeds, man, for Judgment Day's downfall, and we'll see what happens in the future. But overall, Raw was pretty solid.
Raw was great. I'm very curious to see what happens with Liv going into this next show because Becky's gone.
Yeah.
So where do we go from there? Does Lyra end up challenging Liv at Clash? I mean, we already have one match official for the other women, but we'll talk about that when we get there. I think Clash of the Castles could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, time for NXT. NXT, man, it was wild.
What a show! What a show!
God,
and I don't think I stopped smiling that entire night because everything about it was just so good.
Yeah, dude, look, and when they announced Sexy Red was coming, I was like, That
was a lot of people's first reaction.
Yeah, but my thing is if you're a wrestling fan, like regardless of superstardom or celebrity or name or whatever. Oh, yep. We're gonna get into talk about that. Getting NXT and TNA cross brand. So, if you're contributing to the wrestling community as a celebrity and you're not taking anything away from it, but you're adding to it, I completely wholeheartedly want you to be there. That's why I'm a massive supporter of Logan Paul. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm a massive supporter of Bad Bunny whenever he comes. And now Sexy Red.
Yep.
Go ahead, Chris, take it away.
So I'm just going to say that Sexy Red playing into, Booker T's gimmick on commentary, I think is absolutely fucking hysterical because we know Booker T is very in tune with the world around him. That goes for wrestling, that goes for music, that goes for the culture. Sexy Red is known for twerking, regardless of how anybody feels about her as a person or her music. I said this whenever her name was announced. I said this is one of the biggest opportunities to bring eyes onto NXT, whether people want to admit it or not. See, Kenny, and you know what? That's what a lot of people said, but I'm going to say this about NXT. When we get to that part about talking about ratings is exactly why I disagree with that statement. I agree, Alec. She was there to present the NXT Women's North American title, gorgeous title, and people are going to be competing for it next Sunday for Battleground at the UFC Apex.
I'm actually going to be watching that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and she did great. I thought it was it contributed the perfect possible way that they could for a celebrity of her status. Going into the show, we started out with Michin versus Tatum Paxley after Tatum tried ripping the title away from Sexy Red. Michin came out. They had a banger of a match, and Michin ended up winning that match. Another great back and forth. I say it every single week or every time we're on this podcast. I wholeheartedly think NXT as a whole has the best women's division out of any brand, out of any show, and I will die on that hill. And this proves it. All the women that are working on that show, all the calibers of talent that are going into that show is just unmatched. Sure, you got the 4 horsewomen on the main roster. You have so many women on the main roster that are great, but I don't think the hunger is there like it once was. I think there are a lot of complacent women. I think there are a lot of content women that are at the top of their game that don't strive to do more. That's why I love Jade and Bianca together, because you see Bianca's having a great time with Jade. They are working together. They are thriving. You can kind of see the same about Damage Control, but I'm not into Dakota. I don't think Dakota is somebody I really care about. So Kenny, I don't think an athlete would have an impact. Like, again, we'll talk about the rating part of it when I get there. But I don't think an athlete would make a difference. Like, what big women's athlete would you have come in there that's going to make an impact? Caitlin Clark, who's really the only woman who's of interest right now. But I don't think anybody wants a basketball star to come onto NXT. But again, no hate towards any of the women that are building their brand right now. Sexy Red was a perfect fit for Trick Williams, for Lash Legend, for Jakara, for Tatum, for everybody who's working in that women's division. Sexy Red is the perfect person to be in the places she was at. Next, we had Ridge Holland and Riley Osborne. Another great match. I'm a little still curious to see what they're going to do with Ridge. It seems like Sean Spears is pulling the strings, and we just don't know exactly where it's going. I like background stories like this because you can't predict and you can't speculate everything that's going to go on. Sean Spears seems to be planting a lot of seeds throughout the brand, so I'm very excited to see what he does. Ridge Holland ended up beating the dog shit out of Riley Osborne. Another really good match. Then we had the Good Brothers, the OC versus Malik Blade and Idris Enofe. I'm curious to see what happens with Blade and Enofe because it seems like they job a lot. It seems like HBK is trying to give them a chance, pairing them with Brindley Reese, who is another up-and-coming women's talent. It doesn't seem like there's a firm direction for them. But, of course, you can't have the OC lose to a tag team that's not really established enough. So the OC won. Then we had Dante Chen. Oh, wait, hold on. We had Roxanne Perez come out and asking, what who her challenger is going to be. I agree. Sean Spears, I think, is one of the greatest rehires that NXT has done. He's incredible.
He super kicked him. Why would he not give him a job?
Roxanne came out with Ava, trying to push the general manager who her competitor was because Battlegrounds next week, and she still doesn't know who she's facing. And to everybody's surprise, we got Jordan Grace, the TNA Women's Knockout Champion, is going to challenge Roxanne Perez at Battleground. I have never been so excited for a women's match like this one because we don't know what's going to happen. I would love for them to throw a curveball here and give us Jordan Grace beating Roxanne. No, I agree. The Stan bit was pretty funny. I think that's probably one of my favorite eras of Shawn Michaels. I just kicked Stan. But I'm curious to see what they end up doing. I think the right move would be to have Jordan Grace win the NXT title. It would be good for shock value. It would be good to have to solidify that crossover. I think the buzz on NXT is very much needed. But yeah, we're gonna have Roxanne and Jordan Grace.
And think about it, dude. Think about the story behind that. You let a TNA knockout come take your championship. You have to go get it back.
Right. And it's going to give viewership to TNA.
Yeah.
Next up, we had hold on, Lola Vice versus Ariana Grace. I'm just gonna say this about Lola Vice, man. I don't get it. Besides the ass cheeks, I don't get it. I really don't. And I definitely don't mean to disrespect her. You know, she's very talented. I will never take that away from her. But I just don't think she's that good. And I think it's because of her dog shit promos. She needs a manager in the worst freaking way. I think she's worse than oh my God. What was her name before she got released? Aaliyah? Yeah, Aaliyah. I think she's worse than Aaliyah on the microphone. And Aaliyah was pretty bad on the promo. But she squashed Ariana Grace very, very much against that whole thing happening because Ariana Grace, I think, is one of the greatest personalities and talent that NXT has on their current roster. Next up, we had Lexis King versus Dante Chen. Real NXT fans know how good Dante Chen is. I call him the gatekeeper of Level Up because every new talent or every new development person that debuted on Level Up, Dante Chen faced. But now he's finally on the NXT roster, and he faced Lexis King again. He won with a roll-up, but they had Lexis King attack him after the match. So
yeah,
we're going to have Dante and Lexis feud finally. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Lexis is able to help Dante dig into because I think Dante is incredibly talented. For those of you who don't know of Dante, he was signed during the pandemic and he was supposed to debut a lot sooner. But since the pandemic happened, he was delayed because they were signing him from Singapore and, you know, all the travel restrictions and everything. He couldn't debut. So very happy he's getting an opportunity. I think he's very much over with a lot of people. We had a nice little video package with Josh Briggs talking about him being signed in 2020 and all the trials and tribulations he faced with the split with him. And are they still doing all their NXT shows in the same arena weekly unless it's a premium event? Yep. So this is just a rumor. This is not confirmed. I heard that the UFC Apex might be a new stomping grounds for NXT. So I think bringing that to a new city like Vegas is a very good opportunity for them because, one, it's a new market for them, and two, it's another smaller arena that could very much get them over. So if we get NXT in a new arena, if the Apex opens up doors for that, I'm 100% game for that because a new environment is very much needed for that roster. Yeah, it's already set for the pay-per-view, right? But I'm saying that it could open the doors for like actual shows, like Tuesdays. Then we had a match versus for Kalani Jordan versus Ren Sinclair for the North American Women's Qualifying match. Very good match. Kalani Jordan, I think, is going to be a heavy hitter in the women's division. She's very, very good at what she does. She's Carmelo's girl. So you know she's training right. You know she's doing right by her ring work. She's incredible. Kalani Jordan won that match. Then we had Trick Williams and Javon Evans with Sexy Red against Gallus. Javon Evans, man. The fact that he is only 20 years old and can sell and can work the way that boy works, I think Javon Evans is going to be a superstar because he's so damn good at what he does. You can tell the immaturity is still there. You can tell that the grind and the work that he has done isn't there just yet. He's not very seasoned. But man, when he gets up there, he starts bulking up and he starts getting better and more established in that ring. Javon Evans is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And teaming him up with Trick Williams, I think, is the greatest thing they can do. And Kenny, I believe it was. This is what I was talking about with Sexy Red. Everybody was chanting Javon Evans and Trick Williams dancing with Sexy Red, including Booker T. It was a really, really good match. And when the match ended, we had the lights go out. Last Legend approached Trick and she said, "Hey, were you the one that attacked Noam Dar and Ora Mensa? Like, tell me the truth." And he's like, when he picked up the microphone to say he didn't do it, the lights go out and somebody debuts. And that somebody was All Ego Ethan freaking Page. Now, I have never watched Ethan Page, but I knew that potential was there. I've seen promos. I've seen his Twitter promos and the opportunities that were, I don't want to say given to him, but the opportunities he had. Tony Khan just didn't capitalize on All Ego Ethan Page. I'm very excited to see what they do with Ethan because, man, if there's somebody in this industry that can work good with talent, it's Shawn freaking Michaels.
Yeah. Alex says, Shawn, come to WrestleMania. I would love to. I would love nothing more than to come to SummerSlam, but I'm buying a house, man. I got to save up and come meet Sting. Chris can't come because he's not holding the title today.
Dog, that title is too damn heavy.
Yeah. I'll say this. When I seen Ethan Page, like I've stated before and many other times, I don't watch NXT. I keep up on the highlights. When I seen Ethan Page's fucking face on Facebook show up in the NXT, I was like, no way. And then I looked, dude. So first off, I want to say this, man. Ethan Page as a human being is one of the most humble human beings, one of the nicest human beings. I watch a lot of his content on YouTube. His work with Danhausen. I'm a huge fan of Danhausen. A lot of his work with Danhausen is phenomenal. And a lot of his actual work when it comes to to his social media, dude, he puts in a lot of work for it. But as a professional wrestler, like he's even more talented, right? Like he worked with Scorpio Sky and Men of the Year,
Kenny
phenomenal. Omega. He worked against Kenny Omega. He's worked against Darby Allin. He's worked against quite a few people. He's had series of matches with Darby Allin outside of AEW, with Danhausen. And All Ego is amazing. He was in a tag team with Josh Alexander and TNA. Phenomenal. Great tag team, right? And this is just another added talent to NXT. But the crazy thing is he went on social media and he put a promo out there, said, "I'm not signed with NXT or TNA."
I call bullshit.
I do too. But he put that out there. He said, "I'm not signed with anybody. I'm just there to cause a fucking ruckus." And dude, it was great. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Off subject. Are you guys a fan of Arn Anderson's son's work? No, not really.
I don't think he's done enough for me to say that he's good or bad. I mean, that's kind of like Brian Pillman Jr. and that's kind of like Griff Garrison. Neither of which were ever given opportunities to do anything. Now, I don't think Griff is good. I've never thought that he was good or even thought that he deserved to be on TV. But that's neither here nor there. Now, Lexus King has more than proven his worth. Yep. And I think he's one of the best wrestlers on the roster that we have. But to piggyback off of NXT, we got the highest demo that NXT has ever gotten in 2024. I think the last time we got a high demo like this was January because of Sexy Red.
Yeah.
HBK knows what he's doing. Yeah. And again, I don't listen to Sexy Red's music, but I understand why, as in a business perspective, why she's doing stuff like this.
Dude, go
Like,
ahead. Go ahead.
I think if you separate personal feelings towards any celebrity that makes a wrestling appearance and you understand why they're there and not just to be there, then you can accept somebody for making an impact the way that Sexy Red has made the small impact and contribution that she did to a show that so many people still doubt how good NXT is.
Yeah. Dude, that would be like having Kendrick Lamar on the show, right?
All that cake, Alec.
Chris likes the twerking. Yeah, he does. He likes the cake. That would be like on the level if they had Kendrick Lamar, right? Because if you, and this is a little bit off topic, but if you listen to the diss track, the you are not, or you are, or we're not the same, or whatever, you're not like us, where him and Drake were going back and forth.
Yep.
He referenced Sweet Chin music, right? And then HBK said, "Oh, you can come on NXT and settle it with Drake," right? And the seeds were planted. Now, if that came to fruition, that would have been huge.
It'll be over. Like
It would be, yeah.
and that's what I'm saying about Sean, bro. Like,
he's smart.
People think he's just some old guy booking a show, bro. He's
He's
probably the most in tune to the wrestling world right now. Like, for God's sake, this man took a picture with Sexy Red, drove her to the airport while they're listening to his theme song. Like, bro, HBK is a man of the people.
Bro, yeah, Drake versus Kendrick.
Full send. WrestleMania main event. It's done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want you to cover the first part of SmackDown. I didn't get to see it, and I do have to jump off camera one moment.
Okay, let me grab the card really quick. Hold on. Drake would have come out with a prosthetic nose and used the rock bottom. Bro, I need it. I'm telling you right now, we should totally get Trick Williams should back Kendrick, and we should have all Ethan, or we should have Ego. God damn it, Ethan Page can have Kendrick, or can have Drake. I think that'd be hilarious.
But, all right, I'm back.
Okay. So the first half of the show was Tommaso Ciampa versus Austin Theory. I think Austin Theory needs a babyface turn in the worst way. I think we're finally at a point where you're starting to see he doesn't really believe in himself as a heel. And I don't know if that comes off to you guys like it does to me, but I don't feel like he is 100% into that heel gimmick anymore. No. I think Triple H and Vince both had their fair share in the downfall of Austin Theory so far. I think the selfie gimmick was okay for a little while. And then Vince made the mistake of giving him the briefcase. And that's when he stepped down. And we had... See, I disagree, because if you look at his social media stuff and you look at the signings and stuff, he's got quite the following. He's actually a really nice guy and has quite the following for a babyface run. So I don't think that I don't think it'll hurt him if he goes to be a babyface, especially somebody like Waller, who can genuinely be a piece of shit and very convincing one. I think Austin would get very, very over as a babyface. Now, I think he would reach levels of Cody and Jay? No.
I mean, look at the piece of shit Grayson Waller when Johnny Gargano was leaving NXT.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, Grayson Waller has a potential of being one of the best heels in the company. What? What?
They are calling. I've been scrolling down the thing to get to where I started watching. They got it. They are calling fucking damn it. God damn it. Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga. They're calling them Gorillas of Destiny, bro.
Really?
Yeah, on Bleacher
I'm,
Report. On
I'm
Bleacher
actually
Report.
really surprised about that.
On Bleacher
Oh
Report.
wow!
Gorillas of Destiny versus
But
Street
are they
Profits.
calling it that, or is WWE calling them that?
I don't know. That was on Bleacher Report. Let me look. I'll find out
Yeah,
because
because I was gonna say I would have thought that they would call them that, or at least allude to that this past SmackDown.
they called them the Bloodline.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know that
I
they
think
have.
Bleacher Report's just calling them that.
Regardless, that shit was crazy.
Yeah. Where did you watch up to?
So the women's tag team match.
Okay. Um, I feel he's better as a heel, but he needs a babyface turn as of right now. I just feel like his babyface turn. Um, I think the biggest difference between the Miz and Austin Theory when it comes to heel and babyface is Miz broke into as an obnoxious dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Austin Theory kind of when he debuted, it was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And that's all they knew him as wasn't he doing the Messiah shit with Seth Rollins?
Oh, on the main roster?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember. I think
Yeah,
he
he was.
doing that.
Yeah, so he on NXT he was with the Way,
Right.
and then he debuted with the Monday Night Messiah.
Right.
Seth
Okay. So
Rollins
that
gimmick,
was
yeah.
and then when we slowly worked out of the pandemic,
Wait, was he?
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure he was. I know Buddy was there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pandemic is such a blur to me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways.
I feel like Awesome Theory, if he was to do a babyface run, I think he could pull it off a lot better than Miz can. Because I think Miz always needs a tag team partner when he does a babyface shit. Because he's not a convincing babyface as a solo guy. We saw that when he was with Tommaso. He just can't do it.
He needs like the B team.
Right. And I think when Miz face turn never worked until now. Yeah, but it's only because of R-Truth though. Like if you take away R-Truth, can Miz still do that? I don't think so. R-Truth is a really, really big factor there.
Yeah.
And I just think that Austin and Waller could be a really good mid-card feud if they do it right.
Yeah, definitely.
Then the next match we had was Andrade versus Apollo. Garza came out to try and recruit Andrade into the Legado del Fantasma. Andrade won the match. Very good match. I kind of feel like we're finally starting to get somewhere with Andrade. It kind of seems like Triple H was trying to figure out what to do with him for a while. And it seems like we have finally gotten to a point where they're planting seeds for a Santos versus Andrade match. I think that could be a really, really good SmackDown feud that many people might be invested in if done right. My only concern is Andrade. He doesn't have anybody in his corner. He doesn't have a Zelina. He doesn't have a mouthpiece. He can talk. He can talk. He can speak English. Yeah. But I'm just worried about how an audience would react to him as a solo guy in an important feud, or at least one of his biggest feuds right now. Charlotte and Andrade would be great together. I think that would be incredible. But here's my question on that. Would you be afraid of Charlotte overshadowing her husband? Because her power is significantly different.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she could talk for him, but I wouldn't want her to outshine Andrade. That's the only thing I would be afraid of.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, they should bring back Lana. I'm like, no, they shouldn't. Shut up.
No, definitely not. Next. Oh, go ahead. Continue.
Next match, I think, was the Gorillas of Destiny versus Street Profits.
No. It was the women's tag team match. It was Chelsea Green and Piper Niven against against Naomi and Bailey, and it was a
Okay.
solid.
They just don't have it in order here then.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was a solid match, man. I don't think she outshines him considering he's already a diamond in the ring.
See, I'm not even talking about ring work though.
No
Like I'm just talking about
presence.
she's main evented WrestleMania multiple times. She's a 16-time champion now,
Yeah,
15,
something like that.
and I just feel like he has not accomplished anywhere near what she has.
No. Next, yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, I was wrong. Yeah. So the next was
Correct.
because of bigger following. Yeah, and achievements.
Yes.
And achievements. Next we had Kevin Owens come out and he had a segment where he was going to call out the bloodline, and Paul Heyman came out and pretty much pleaded with him and said these aren't these.
Great promo segment.
Oh yeah, he said these are the people that Roman Reigns did not want in the bloodline because they're criminals, right? He called them criminals, and thugs. He said these are people, bad people, right? These are Roman Reigns respects you. He respects Randy, and these guys have zero respect for you. So it's planting those seeds. And then KO said, "I don't believe you. You're pulling the strings." Then the bloodline came out and they circled the ring, and the Street Profits came out and made the save. So if anything, she opened for following eyes from where I mean maybe.
I don't disagree with that, but I also think that everybody would be chanting for Charlotte or everybody would be cheering for Charlotte, whereas Andrade doesn't exactly get reactions.
Yeah.
At least not yet.
Yeah. So the match was a really good match. We had
phenomenal fucking match.
God, dude, phenomenal match. And let's just say Tama Tonga's finisher. Oh my God. It's so simple, but so effective.
So
and he can do it out of nowhere, like the RKO.
I'm going to say this. There was a lot of chatter and a lot of shit talking about Tamaleo or Loa being part of the roster because of his match with Okada and how fucking ridiculous it was. I said after that match, I'm like, I'm confused. He did pretty well in this match. So where's the he's dog shit in the ring coming from? Because it's I don't see it. I don't understand. It's gonna take him time to adjust because he hasn't been in WWE since Camacho.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do just fine.
Yeah. And the thing is he is better as a tag team competitor than he is single. Just like Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga's great as a tag team. They said he was dog shit.
Oh yeah, they dragged him so bad on Twitter before that match. They said, "Oh, he better not bring any of that Okada match bullshit over here." I'm like, okay, so what's going on? And I went back and looked at it. I'm like, oh yeah, so he's doing the Eddie Kingston shit. I'm doing all of that.
Yeah. So yeah, solid match. The next match was Naomi and Bailey versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. I didn't think that Chelsea Green and Piper Niven were going to pick up the win. To be fair, I thought that Bailey and Naomi were going to go over. I think they're trying to solidify Piper Niven as a legitimate threat.
They need to. It's about fucking time. They need to.
Yeah. Solid match, really good match, and I
want to say this really quick about Piper. The last time that she was taken as a threat, let this sink in for a second. The last time she was taken as a threat was NXT UK against Kaylee Ray.
Yeah. Well, that match against Becky too, when she had that match with Becky, it was kind of there, but it wasn't on the level with Kaylee Ray.
See, I don't disagree, but almost 9 times out of 10, Becky is not going to lose.
No. All night they've been teasing this. AJ Styles has an announcement about his future, right? AJ Styles is going to address his future at the end of the show. They show him backstage, and I'm going to say this. Chris and I were messaging, and I told him exactly what I thought was going to happen, and exactly what I thought was going to happen happened. But we're going to go through it. He went backstage. He was shaking people's hands. He whispered something in Cody's ear. Then he got to the OC, and said that, you guys have been here with me. Let's go out to the ring. They go out to the ring. AJ does, he's wearing the blue suit. He's like the blue suede suit. He looks all fucking Gucci. And he's like, I went home for my kid's graduation and I'm really noticing that I'm missing a lot. Now, Cody, I whispered something in your ear and I'd like you to come out. So he brings Cody out and he says, in France, this was one of the best matches I've ever had. And, he said, this is the house that AJ Styles built. Now I'm passing the torch to you. And Cody teared up a little bit and then fucking raised AJ's hands, went all around the ring. And I said, this to me feels like a bait and switch. To me, that moment felt like a bait and switch, right? It felt very Mark Henry-esque when he faked his retirement. And to me, that's just what it was. And Chris was like, what if what if it's real? What if he's really retiring? I was like, to me, it just don't feel right.
Yeah, right.
It just don't, there's something about it, right?
I always try to keep that, like, instead of going the obvious route about things, I always try to, like, look at it from a what if kind of perspective. Because I feel if you expect or if you think something's going to happen, or if you quote unquote think it's going to happen, that expectation is set. It's like, oh, well, this isn't what I wanted. This is bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then he beat the dog shit out of Cody.
Bro, that Styles clash, that Styles clash off the steps was fucking sickening.
Yeah, it was. Now, this feud just went from professional to personal, right? It went from, hey, this is just business. You have a championship match, you earned it, to now you skip the whole line of everybody. Alex says yes. AJ's got to be in the best shape of his life to retire. Yes, right.
But, I just want to explain my thinking on that, Alec. I feel in the wrestling world that we're currently in, where there's so many dirt sheets, there's so many spoilers, there's so many journalists just thinking they know every goddamn thing that happens behind the scenes. I don't think there's anything wrong with blanketing the obvious with a open mind perspective, because for me, wrestling has always been an escape. Wrestling has always been there for me growing up. It was there for me now, especially in a time where I can't leave my house right now. And I think there's so many people that watch it to either hate watch or to just think they know everything that's going to happen on the dime. And then, wow, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Wow, give me some fucking brownie points. You know what I mean? Like, I hate watching wrestling with people that predict shit before it happens. Yeah. That's why I try to stay away from speculation. I try to stay away from reports. Like, if there was any ounce of knowing that Ethan Page was going to show up Tuesday, I'd be like, oh, well, we all knew he was going to show up. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't like watching wrestling like that.
I love the element of surprise in wrestling.
Right. And even if you can blanket it with a false sense of surprise.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being excited for shit to happen.
I agree. Now, before we go on, before we wrap up the show, I want to do a little plug for somebody. Chris, I haven't told you about this. But it's a guy on YouTube I just recently discovered. His channel is Deporticus, and it's DPORTICUS. But for the last year, WrestleMania 39 was his first exposure to professional wrestling. Before this, he had never watched wrestling in his life. WrestleMania 39, he became a fan. And over the past year, he's been watching every single show from WWE and their product. He's been to multiple shows. He went to SummerSlam last year. He's been to other shows. And he just became a massive wrestling fan. And he's branching out to look at other companies and stuff. And he just gives his honest perspective and gives feedback from different shows. And he watched Double or Nothing. And he kind of holds the same sentiment that we do about, what happened. But the thing is like this guy, it's so cool to see this. And I commented on one of the videos. It's so cool to see somebody that hasn't watched wrestling for as long as you and I have, or as long as Alec has, or some of these other guys has, and be able to see things through a fresh perspective of somebody that just started watching and is a super fan. And so like I really enjoy watching his stuff. Go check him out on YouTube. Little shameless plug. He doesn't even know I've commented on like one or two of his videos. But aside from that, Chris, do you have any last words before we close up shop?
Yes, I had one F bomb that I wanted to quickly
Let's
talk
do
about.
it. Let us do it. What is your F bomb, Chris?
My F bomb of the week is Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay happening at Forbidden Door. I think it is arguably the dumbest booking I have ever seen in that company, because they had Swerve Strickland win off a hot shot booking. Let's call it for what it is. It was a hot shot booking.
Yeah.
And Will Ospreay, who just beat Roderick Strong, who wasn't on TV, for a title that nobody gives a shit about. So how do you book Forbidden Door? Everybody complained about Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes happening because they're both champions. But the whole Cody versus Logan crowd is real quiet when they're doing Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland. Since Swerve Strickland has been a champion, Tony Khan cannot book that man to save his life. And this past Saturday is the lowest rating that Collision has ever gotten. In the Fast Nationals, they only got 122,000 viewers. That's pathetic.
Yeah.
And again, alluding to what I said earlier, until somebody holds that company accountable, Swerve Strickland is going to drop it to Will Ospreay. If he doesn't, okay. I'll entertain the fact that they're waiting until Wembley. But either way, Swerve Strickland is a transitional champion, and it's really sad to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks because Swerve is talented. You and I, we have mad respect for Swerve, but he's being overshadowed by somebody that just joined the company. I agree with you. So yeah, my final thoughts, man, is like wrestling is an enjoyable thing, right? Like I'm excited to see what happens in the future. I'm excited to see what is happening now. Wrestling is enjoyable. Before we go, I want to thank Kenny for commenting. Thank you, Alec, for commenting. Casey, thank you for jumping in and watching. That's pretty awesome. And thank you, everybody. My daughter, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And until next time, I'm not gonna be here this Sunday because I'm gonna be in Tennessee spending time with my kid. But until next time, I hope you guys have a good week. I hope you guys enjoy wrestling, and we love you. Be good. Much love.